88 Helpful Arrogance quotes to stop being arrogant. Arrogance is the nature of an arrogant person who thinks that he is better than everyone else. The below powerful arrogance quotes tell you that an arrogant person considers himself perfect, but it is actually different. Arrogance stops the person from becoming a better person. These arrogance quotes also tell us that it is madness if you think that you are perfect, you are always right. You need to get out of this. The longer you stay with it, you become incapable to understand your abilities. You can also read our other motivational quotes on peace of mind, letting go quotes, attraction quotes, and creative art quotes. Let's read the collection of some best helpful arrogance quotes. 1. A bit of arrogance is nice every now and then. Leo Sayer. 2. A blend of stupidity and innocence can still win you friends. However, stupidity and arrogance together will leave you lonely. Sukant Rutnakar. 3. A fool is someone whose arrogance is only surpassed by his ignorance. Orrin Woodward. 4. A solid answer to everything is not necessary. Blurry concepts influence one to focus, but postulated clarity influences arrogance. Chris Jamie. 5. A woman who holds her head up too high is trying to breathe from her own pollution. Susie Kassem. 6. All the roads of the haughty man lead to arrogance. Mehmet Murat Ilden. 7. All too often arrogance accompanies strength, and we must never assume that justice is on the side of the strong. The use of power must always be accompanied by moral choice. Theodore Bickel. 8. An arrogant man forever thinks he can do much more than he can. Amit Kalantri. 9. An arrogant person considers himself perfect. This is the chief harm of arrogance. It interferes with a person's main task in life, becoming a better person. Leo Tolstoy. 10. An exceedingly confident student would in theory make a terrible student. Why would he take school seriously when he feels that he can outwit his teachers? Chris Jamie. 11. An ordinary man gets arrogant with beauty, conceited with knowledge and ruthless with power. Amit Kalantri. 12. Anger and arrogance are defensive mechanisms that preclude self-evaluation. Humility is necessary for a person to step outside his or her own skin and objectively appraise oneself. Kilroy J. Oldster. 13. Any man who behaves arrogantly with what little he knows, or claims to know all, only reveals to all that he really knows nothing. Real greatness does not reside inside those who feel large. The truly wise are meek. Susie Kassem. 14. Anyone who knows me well will tell you that arrogance is one of my flaws. Randy Posh. 15. Arrogance and selfishness are not the only reasons behind our loneliness, but most often we used to be alone because of them. M.F. Moonsager. 16. Arrogance based on relentless denial of faults eventually makes a person weary. Sam Owen. 17. Arrogance created to project a self-image of superiority is the very trait that demonstrates to others deeply hidden inferiority. Sam Owen. 18. Arrogance generally is a bad thing, but with a band, somehow you have to have this gang mentality or this certain degree of arrogance to push forward an idea that's new enough that people aren't comfortable with it at first. Mike D. 19. Arrogance is an illusion of superiority one perpetrates upon themselves. Some may ultimately find their way through the illusion, but only after many losses. Deborah Crown. 20. Arrogance is blind to the stumbling block. Toba Beta. 21. Arrogance is full with the perception of perfection, while maturity always has room for understanding and improvement. Menaz Ansari. 22. Arrogance is in everything I do. It is in my gestures, the harshness of my voice, in the glow of my gaze, in my sinewy, tormented face. Coco Chanel. 23. Arrogance is lifelong ascending madness. Amit Kalantri. 24. Arrogance is shown in one's respect for the truth. Lionel Suggs. 25. Arrogance is someone claiming to have come to Christ, but they won't spend more than 5 minutes listening to your journey because they are more concerned about their own well-being, rather than being a true disciple of Christ. Blessed is the person that takes the time to heal and hear another person so they can move on. Shannon L. Alder. Interesting quotes about being arrogant. 26. Arrogance is the inability of a person to understand and accept different perspectives. Sukant Ratnakar. 27. Arrogance is the reflection of protection and privileges. Sukant Ratnakar. 28. Arrogance is the slow poison that eventually kills the knowledge. Shubham Sanup. 29. Arrogance is the worst teacher. Abhijit Nuskar. 30. Arrogance is thinking you are above someone else. Confidence is knowing no one is above you. Habib Akand. 31. Arrogance is trying to convince others you're more than who they know you are. Bianca Fraser. 32. Arrogance likes to appear humble in public. Toba Beta. 33. Arrogance makes you stronger from outside, but even weaker from inside. Ujos Soni. 34. Arrogance on the part of the meritorious is even more offensive to us than the arrogance of those without merit, for merit itself is offensive. Friedrich Nietzsche. 35. Arrogance will kill anything and everything you ever possibly have. Dominic Ricci Teo. 36. Arrogant men show desperate determination to deny even the evidence to prove their prejudice. Amit Kalantri. 37. Arrogant men with knowledge make more noise from their mouth than making a sense from their mind. Amit Kalantri. 38. Arrogant people beat each other. Toba Beta. 39. Be careful not to mistake insecurity and inadequacy for humility. Humility has nothing to do with the insecure and inadequate. Just like arrogance has nothing to do with greatness. C. A. Joybell C. 40. Confidence cannot escalate to arrogance, it only happens if the blood of pride is running through your veins. Michael Bassey Johnson. 41. Confirming what you see as reality is a true sign of your arrogance. Lionel Suggs. 42. Do not let arrogance go to your head and despair to your heart. Do not let compliments go to your head and criticisms to your heart. Do not let success go to your head and failure to your heart. Roy T. Bennett. 43. Early in life I had to choose between honest arrogance and hypocritical humility. I chose honest arrogance and have seen no occasion to change. Frank Lloyd Wright. 44. False modesty can be worse than arrogance. David Mitchell. 45. Fundamentalism is rooted in arrogance. It thrives in fear and control and darkness. Michael Gungor. 46. He knows nothing, and he thinks he knows everything. That points clearly to a political career. George Bernard Shaw. 47. Humility is the fundamental principle that builds up greatness. Arrogance, on the other hand, never brings anything good. When you are humble, you'll learn to become better. Israel Moore Ivor. 48. Humility moves more mountains than arrogance. Alan Cohen. Inspirational arrogance quotes. 49. I like to think that my arrogance, impetuosity, impatience, selfishness, and greed are the qualities that make me the lovable chap I am. Richard Hammond. 50. I sometimes have an overconfidence that can be viewed as arrogance. James Corden. 51. I think there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. Andrew Scheer. 52. I'm in favor of religion as a tamer of arrogance. For a Greek Orthodox, the idea of God as creator outside the human is not God in God's terms. My God isn't the God of George Bush. Nassim Nicholas Taleb. 53. If we want there to be equity and acceptance, we must learn to trample first our own arrogance. Abhijit Nuskar. 54. It's much easier on the emotions when one sees life as an experiment rather than a struggle for popularity. Chris Jamie. 55. Learning and innovation go hand in hand. The arrogance of success is to think that what you did yesterday will be sufficient for tomorrow. William Pollard. 56. Learning without implementation is arrogance. Richie Norton. 57. Let your knowledge be your advisor and not your arrogance. Amit Kalantri. 58. Love is the blind revelation of arrogance. Lionel Suggs. 59. Money isn't the solution to your problems. It only lets you carry your unhappiness around in style. Shannon L. Alder. 60. My success isn't a result of arrogance, it's a result of belief. Conor McGregor. 61. Never mistake arrogance for intellect. D.B. Harrop. 62. People can overlook any shortcoming, but they will not tolerate arrogance. Sushma Swaraj. 63. Pretend inferiority and encourage his arrogance. Sun Tzu. 64. Pride is the mother of arrogance. Toba Beta. 65. Science is a form of arrogance control. Carol Tavries. 66. Simply minding one's own business is more offensive than being intrusive. Without ever saying a word, one can make a person feel less than. Chris Jamie. 67. Sometimes it's difficult to accept, to recognize one's own mistakes, but one must do it. I was guilty of overconfidence and arrogance, and I was punished for that. Mikhail Gorbachev. 68. Stupid people will mistake your confidence for arrogance. Habby Backend. 69. Stupidity combined with arrogance and a huge ego will get you a long way. Chris Lowe. 70. The arrogance of age must submit to be taught by youth. Edmund Burke. 71. The arrogance of power must be undermined. David Dellinger. 72. The best we can hope for is to be humble in our arrogance. Neil Shusterman. 73. The hated man is the result of his hater's pride rather than his hater's conscience. Chris Jamie. 74. The truest characters of ignorance are vanity and pride and arrogance. Samuel Butler. Famous inspirational arrogant quotes. 75. There are two circumstances that lead to arrogance. One is when you're wrong and you can't face it. The other is when you're right and nobody else can face it. Chris Jamie. 76. There is a very thin line between confidence and arrogance. Adam Peaty. 77. There is no place for arrogance or complacency in racing because you are up there 1 minute and on your backside the next. Tony McCoy. 78. Timing and arrogance are decisive factors in the successful use of talent. Maria Mans. 79. To become a better you, never let the attitude of pride linger around your ambitions. Israel Moore Ivor. 80. When power leads man toward arrogance, poetry reminds him of his limitations. When power narrows the area of man's concern, poetry reminds him of the richness and diversity of existence. When power corrupts, poetry cleanses. John F. Kennedy. 81. When you look at racism, it's nothing but pure arrogance, unintelligent and shallow-minded in the minds and hearts of men. Nuruddin Ushawu. 82. Whenever success and fame override our senses with greed, arrogance, and delusion, it is a time to pause and reflect. Aditya Ejmera. 83. Women have served all these centuries as looking glasses, possessing the magic and delicious power of reflecting the figure of man at twice its natural size. Virginia Woolf. 84. You are only plagued with stress in moments of conflict because you are arrogant and believe others are transgressing by having unfavorable thoughts about you. Bryant McGill. 85. You can have a certain arrogance, and I think that's fine, but what you should never lose is the respect for the others. Steffi Graf. 86. You can't let the truth bring out the worst and let it get the best of you. Chris Jamie. 87. You never really learn much from hearing yourself speak. George Clooney. 88. Your arrogance doesn't cheapen me. Toba Beta.